My name is Danny Brown. I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I grew up here. In 1981, I was convicted for aggravated murder, a murder that I did not do. I cooperated with authorities from the very beginning. Went to the police station when I heard that I was being sought by the police. I waived my rights to an attorney. I agreed to a mock lineup. Essentially, that did no good. The authorities were determined to convict me, even though I had 13 witnesses, no physical evidence linked me to the crime. I was convicted on the testimony of a 6-year-old child. I could have had 30 witnesses or more, but my attorney didn't feel it was necessary to call in all the people who had saw me that night. So I was convicted over my protestations of innocence. The day before the trial started, I was called into the judge's chamber, and the judge asked me why wouldn't I take the deal, and I was trying to tell them I was innocent. They looked at me like, why are you gonna waste our time? So I went to court, even though they are saying that I was convicted on the testimony of the child, I believe I was convicted on the abuses of the court system. I did 19 years. I wrote to every TV program. I wrote to every politician in Toledo. I wrote to the NAACP. They did nothing. They did not help me. I wrote to all the ministers I could think of. I got no help. Eventually, I saw a show on TV while incarcerated called about, I think it was 48 hours, 60 minutes, about Centurion Ministries and its founder, Jim McCloskey. I wrote to them, and over a 10-year period, I became intimate with them, and because they have to believe that you are totally innocent before they take your case. And so they became convinced that I was innocent. They came and visited me at Lima and told me they was going to take my case. About a year or two later, Tom Ross from the cold case squad came and got my DNA and said, if this comes back to show that you're innocent, I'll be the first to shake your hand. That never happened, but I did show that I was innocent. I was brought back to Toledo. I had to take a lie detector test. I took 2. The first one was given by a Toledo police officer. He gave me the test, and then he said it was inconclusive. Then he turned around trying to interrogate me. I said I ain't do it. So what they did, because it was inconclusive, they hired one of the top polygraph takers in the nation. And he came up here, gave me the test, I passed it. So I got out on April 7, 2001. About a month later, I was brought back to court. Julia Bates got up and said, well, we wouldn't want to keep an innocent man in prison if we're going to continue to investigate this case. So we let 2 years go by. I turned around, I filed for the wrongful compensation lawsuit, which is a law, under Ohio law, in Title 27, 43, 48, and Title 27, that allows for a wrongly incarcerated person to be compensated for wrongful incarceration. The intent of the bill was to compensate and to apologize to people like me. But instead of getting that, I got from Julia Bates that I was the real killer, even though DNA had showed that another man had committed the crime. His name was Sherman Preston. On top of that, Sherman Preston was in prison for killing another woman the same way. And on top of that, it gets better. He's a suspected serial killer. They think he killed 9 women. 9. Mind you. So while I was in prison for a murder I didn't commit, the real killer was out there walking the streets in Toledo killing women. So now I'm still being called a killer, even though it's his DNA. At my trial, they said I raped the victim. I committed the crime singularly by myself, but now they're trying to say me and him did the crime. But I've been out since 2001. No connection between me and this man. They say they investigate, but what I'm hearing from everybody, they're not investigating. All I want is some respect from the court system. I want my name back. I want the compensation, but I'm not getting that. Julia Bates is a Democrat right here in Toledo, Ohio. The person that prosecuted me, Ruth Ann Franks, is a Democrat right here in Toledo, Ohio. They came to my church, they came to all the churches in the inner city and asked for our votes. But when it came time to be held accountable and do the right thing, they did not. They dragged my name through the mud. I'm not mad, I just want justice. You know, Clarence Darrell said, you hate the sin, but not the sinner. Why I hate the sin, I want justice, I want accountability. I'm asking the people of Toledo to support me. Get your pen and your paper out and write. If you know anything about this case, you know anything about Sherman Preston, know anything about this murder, Could you help? Also, I'm reaching out to the family. What kind of justice is it if the wrong man was convicted of a crime? I'm asking y'all to come forward and search your heart. You want the truth and not a lie. And that's what I'm asking for. I'm still fighting and I ain't gonna give up. That's why I want your support. How was that?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all gonna put that on the end?
Yep.